Hello, hello, how are you? As you guys can probably tell by my interesting lighting and new background, I am traveling again, so I am at a hotel. And I am really excited to spend time with you today to talk about the No Stress Guide to Signing Clients with Content. So, as always, if you're watching live, hi lovies, or if you're watching the replay, definitely ask me questions. Let me know what's going on with you and your biz and how I can support you. I'm going to just really quickly, while we are waiting for a few more people to come on, just to let people know that I am going live in the Facebook group. So that people are aware. Sweet. And then what I would love for you guys to do, especially if you're watching the replay, is to just comment below and let me know like what it feels like when you are thinking about creating content. Like when you're about to go off and create, whether it's a email or a blog post or a Facebook Live or something like that. I want you to let me know like what it feels like, what sort of energy comes up for you, what is going through your mind and things like that. And you can do it now if you're watching live or if you're watching the replay. But the reason for this is that I just want to get a sense of your experience creating content. So hi Lovey. So yeah, just let me know for you personally in the comments below what it's like for you when you're about to create a piece of content, what it feels like, what maybe goes through your mind, anything along those lines, just so that I can get a sense from you guys that are watching live and anybody that's watching the replay, what sort of energy goes into you creating content for your business. And just post them as we go along, but I just love to get a sense of where you guys are at. And I'm actually going to do this live a little bit differently. So while I definitely want you guys to ask me questions, tell me where you're stressed out with content, let me know what comes up for you. I'm going to start this off by sharing how I do content in my business, and just like even examples of how I do things that are very they have structure to them, but there's also a ton of flexibility. There's a lot of freedom. It's kind of like my version of organized chaos, where it's like I have, instead of it being organized chaos, it's like planned spontaneity. And what I mean by that is I know every week how much content I'm going to create and what I'm going to put out there and what I'm going to do, but I don't necessarily always follow my exact plan. So what I'm going to do in this live is I'm going to really share with you guys, for folks that are like, I need a plan and I'd like to know what content I'm going to create and how it'll help me sign clients and how to do it. If that gives you comfort and ease, I'm going to share with you an easy way to create an idea of what content to create and all of that jazz in a way that works for you. And then for those of you that may be like, hey, I like having like a plan, but I don't want too much of a plan because then I feel like I'm suffocating and I feel like it's like I'm put in a box and things like that. If that's you, let me know. And I will give you some tips and solutions as well. But I'm definitely going to kick it off and share with you how I do content in my business, how things have been going for me content-wise, just so that you can kind of get a sense of what it could look like. But in the meantime, if you guys are here, I see some of you are live, just comment, say hello, let me know that the comments are working and that you're here. Let me know what your biggest fears or challenges or things are when it comes around content. Maybe if things that you are doing right now and they're not working, let me know what those are, because I'm completely here to support you and help you throughout this process. And so I'm actually going to, interesting enough, use today's Facebook Live as an example of how I create content and how I do things like that are structured and that are also freedom. Hey, how are you? So Sharita's here. Hi, Camilla. Camilla's here too. Good to see you guys. And so I'll give you an example of today. So oftentimes when people go off and create content, sometimes there may be strategy behind it. Sometimes there may not be. But for me, I believe that all content that you create should have an intention, should have a purpose, should have a strategy. So for example, just to really open the curtain or, give you an inside look into what I do with my business, I am, for the rest of this month, I have a couple of really awesome programs that I'm launching in January. And you guys may have already heard about Badass Coaches Academy, but there are some other things that are coming up. And what I've really done with my business is I've created it so that all of my programs essentially work towards the same high level end result for folks, which is to have a profitable business for female entrepreneurs. But there are different maybe form factors. Some people work better one-on-one, some people work in small groups, some people like bigger groups, things like that. So there's flexibility there. There's flexibility for people's budgets. There's different ways to work with me. And so me knowing that, and just to give you like an inside look at my business, knowing that, I will go, okay, well, this is my intention for, the rest of this month is to sell X of this product. So that's what I really encourage people to do at first, is to think about what intention do you have out there? How much income would you like to make? How many one-on-one clients would you like? How many group programs do you want? How many people do you want in your group program? How many courses do you want to sell? Whatever it is, like, have an intention and know crystal clear at the beginning of the month what your intention is. And so that's how I really start. And so, for example, with this video, I know for myself, like, my high level business intention, which is to service a certain amount of people this month through certain products. The next kind of thing that I look at when I'm looking to create content that, signs clients, is I start thinking about, okay, how can I be of value to my ideal clients? And many of you may have heard this, and many of you may know this, but people buy from folks that they know, that they like, and that they trust. And one of the best ways to connect and engage with your ideal clients in a world that's highly digital, people are spending more and more time on their phones, on their computers, on their tablets, really watching a lot of videos, reading articles, things like that. One of the best things you could do is to provide your ideal clients with content and information that'll be of large value to them in a way that adds value to their lives and services them. Now, the reason why I'm telling you those two pieces is because your ideal client wants you to solve their problem, and you to do that in a medium that works best for them, whether that's video or a blog post or whatever. And your intention is likely to sell a certain amount of products, whether that's your one-on-one coaching, your online classes, a consulting package, blah, blah, blah. And one of the best ways that I found to bring those two together is to service your ideal clients, add value to their lives, and then invite them to work with you. And so what I'm going to do in this video is I'm just going to walk with you through how I do it, how I really build my strategies, and how you can do it in a way that really works for you and that doesn't stress you out. So here are my tips. The first thing that I always tell people to do is to pick one channel to start, and just start with one channel. So that could be, you could pick Facebook, you could pick Instagram, you could pick Twitter, you could pick email, you could pick webinars, whatever the heck it is that you really want to focus on. Pick one place that is going to be your primary content engine. I'm not saying that therefore you shouldn't post anywhere else. If you want to post other places, cool, but have one that's kind of your hero. You're like, okay, this is where, if my ideal client wants to connect and engage with me and get value added to their lives, and I know I'm going to pitch, whatever it is that you're selling or servicing, have that be one thing that you choose. And so again, to kind of share with you transparently about my business, I primarily pitch from Facebook Lives. Most of my clients have watched my videos, have signed up for discovery calls or things like that to work with me from my videos and from training. Now, the reason I do that is not because I read some sort of statistics that Facebook Lives is the best way to connect and engage with your ideal clients. I chose to primarily have my clients come from Facebook because I enjoy doing Facebook Lives. I enjoy doing live trainings. It's fun and easy for me. I could literally sit down, and I came up with the title of this training and that I was going to do it while I was like in the car yesterday with friends going to the beach, like, you know, because I'm working, traveling, all that jazz right now. And so like I knew in my calendar, back to this like structured freedom and like, you know, organized chaos, however you want to look at it. I knew that I was going to do a certain amount of live trainings this week because I am launching programs, and I know that I typically gain clients through live videos, so therefore I know that I have to do a certain amount. So I picked when I was going to do them, I picked the days, and then I had to just go, all right, Nikki, what do you want to talk about this week? What is your game plan? And so that could be something, that's one of the ways that I work. Often I have much more structure to it, but this week not so much. But write down, for you guys that are watching live, like write down kind of out of what I'm sharing so far that has been something that you can implement in your life. So really the first tip, or the first thing that I want you guys to do, is to start every month being crystal clear on what your intention is for the month. What products are you looking to sell, or what products, how many of them do you desire to sell? Like, get really clear on that. And then the next thing I want you to do is really understand like who your ideal client is and where they're spending their time and where they want to connect and engage with you. And then the third piece is really like pick the one channel where you feel is really exciting for you, is really a place where you want to spend your time and energy, and is also a place where your ideal clients may spend their time. So write down what you've said, but yeah, exactly. It's okay to have one social media hero. It really is. Like, I've literally, despite the fact that my background's in content creation, I know how to create strategies for every single social media platform out there, for every digital marketing platform outside of whether it's like retargeting ads or email, all that jazz. I know all that stuff. I had to do it for Fortune 500 companies and for tech startups and for my own business. However, I like Facebook. It's where I like doing Facebook Lives. It's fun for me. So that's what I do, and that's my hero, and that's where I spend most of my time. And yeah, Carmela is like, her channel's Facebook as well. And I kid you not, I've signed, like early on, I signed clients that were paying $3,000 from doing live trainings. I've signed clients upwards of like $10,000 from doing these live trainings. So it's like my hero. It's the, hey, if I know that I want to watch trainings from Nikki, it's primarily she's going to do them first on Facebook, and that's where I'll be. Now, that doesn't mean you can't repurpose and use the content in other ways, but that's where it usually is first for me. That's where I drive people originally, is to my hero channel. So definitely, step one, pick a channel that is your hero, that you know your ideal client is spending their time, that is in a medium or that works really well for you, that you like. If you don't like writing, don't write. If you like video, do video. If you prefer audio, maybe your thing is a podcast, but like, come up with what is the way that you really enjoy creating content, and then add value to your ideal clients' lives. Because if you don't enjoy the channel, your clients aren't going to come. And that's for a couple of reasons. One, it's like energetically, and this is why I ask people, like, you know, when you're about to create a piece of content, what is your energy around it? What are you feeling? What are you thinking? What comes to your mind? And really be aware of that, because if you're about to, you know, go do a webinar or something and you freaking hate being on video and you hate teaching things, then your energy and the way you come across to your ideal clients may not be all that great. And so they're not going to want to buy from you. They're going to be like, man, she was really boring, or really seemed to hate this, or something along those lines. So you really want to connect and engage with your ideal clients in a way that is really exciting and works well for you. The next thing I say, outside of picking like your hero channel, is to give like fucking amazing value. Like, really add great value to your ideal clients' lives. And there are a couple of ways that I make sure that I'm actually providing content that I know my tribe, my people are looking for, that will add value to their lives. And so here are 3 ways. Jot down, if somebody can jot them down as you're going along so you have notes. But the first thing I do is I actually ask my dream clients where they need support. So you may see me post polls in this Facebook group, or post questions in this group or other groups. It's okay, love, that I'm glad you made it. But when I know that I want to add value to my ideal clients' lives, I first need to know what it is that they want support in. So I ask, maybe if you don't have a ton of, if you don't have your own Facebook group, or you don't have a place where you can ask people, go into other groups that may have your ideal client and ask them like, hey, here's my topic, or I'm looking for people that, are X, Y, and Z. For me, it would be, new and early stage online entrepreneurs that are women that are looking to build profitable businesses doing something they're passionate about. And I will go out and find those people in different Facebook groups and say, hey, my name's Nikki Nash. I'm a success coach. My expertise is really in not just content creation, but also helping people build profitable online service-based businesses. I would love to know from anybody that's either just getting started with their service-based business, or who's been in business for, less than 2-3 years, what are your biggest challenges? How could I be of service to you? And so I specifically ask people what it is that they want, and then I go and create content on that. And I reach back out to those people and I'm like, hey, I asked this question. I was like, what kind of support do you want? You told me you wanted support in ABC. I actually created that right here in ABC. Come watch it in my Facebook group, or just send them the YouTube video link, or the blog post, or whatever it is that you've created, and you send it to them. Because if I can tell you one thing, and again, like, I'd love for you guys to just let me know what you're getting from this. Your great takeaways, comment below. But the biggest thing that I want people to get about content creation and about signing clients through content is that it's all relationship building. All you're doing when you're creating content is going, hey, I have a group of people, a community that I want to service. They have certain challenges in their lives right now. I'm going to help them with those challenges a little bit for free through some free content. And then I'm going to invite them to work with me on a deeper level so that I'm really able to help them further and help them deeper and all of that stuff. So one of the things that I really encourage you guys to do is to do things like that. So Carmela says, I support type 2 diabetics, and almost all groups have rules against self-promotion and against direct messaging their people. Yes. Now, they may have rules against self-promotion and direct messaging people, but what I was just saying as an example is to go into those groups and say, hey, my name is Carmela Bell, and I support type 2 diabetics with X, Y, and Z. I am working on some new content, and I would just love for anybody who fits that description to let me know what their biggest challenges are so that I can create some awesome content. That's not self-promotion, that's asking a question. So, and I do that, and especially when I was getting started, I did that in tons of groups. And it's like, hey, I'm just curious, like, what are your biggest challenges? What do you need support in? And then I just, I ask people, and then later on you can direct message them, or you can comment on your own post and write back like, hey, thank you so much, I just created this video or this blog post, and you can link to it. And then in the video, maybe there in that video, it'll say your website, or it'll say join my Facebook group, and it'll do the promotion in the video that you're giving people to add value. So yeah, I'm glad that helped. But there are ways to kind of like, a lot of those groups just don't want you to go in and be like, hey, buy my package, here's the link to my package. But what you can do is say, hey, I'm here to service people, I have an expertise in this, I just want to know what you need support in so I can best help you, let me know. And so that's one way that I go about making sure that I'm able to create amazing content and amazing value, is to ask people what they want. The second thing that I do to create content that I know my dream clients love is I ask myself, like, okay, and this is for people who were once their ideal client, or were once where their ideal clients are now, is I sit back and I go, okay, what did I need when I was there? Because sometimes your ideal clients may not even know that they need something, but you know that they need it because you've been there. So I go, okay, let me create this training on what it is that I know my ideal clients need, because I want to help them again, get from where they are now to where they really desire to be. So let me just start thinking about and brainstorming what it is that I needed back then and share that with them now. So that's another way that you can make sure that you're creating content that really adds value. The third piece, and this is how I ended up with kind of the topic that is today, is that you can kind of meditate on it, or just ask the universe, like, hey, I know I'm going to do, for me, it was like, I know I want to do a live training. It's either going to be on Tuesday or Saturday, or maybe both. I don't know what it's going to be on yet, but if, you, universe, have an idea, can you just pop it in my head real quick? Because then I'll make it happen. And so that's another thing that you can do, is that you can just like kind of surrender your topic to the universe and just go, hey, I got nothing, but I know you guys have, or you, depending on if you believe in one or many, it's like, hey, you up there, I know that you have way more knowledge, or you're tapped into what people need more than I am right now. Can you just support me? So those are just some ways that you can create content that adds value to your ideal clients' lives. So let me just do a quick recap of what I've covered so far, and then I'll keep going. But first again, pick that hero channel. Pick the one channel that feels really good to you, that you know your ideal clients on, and make that your focus, where you're going to create a lot of your content. The next is just give amazing value, give amazing content. Ask people what they want. Check into where you were, if you were once your ideal client, what you needed, what trainings you needed, or ask the universe. And then once you've done that, once you've gone, okay, like, hey, I am going to primarily focus, like, again, for me, I primarily do Facebook Lives or, webinars, or something that I've done a lot too, but essentially live video trainings. I prefer Facebook Lives for a couple of reasons. Webinars, people tend to feel like you need a slide or something, and I just don't feel like doing that. So I do Facebook Lives. So I pick my medium that is more enjoyable for me, that I really enjoy. I ask people what they need help with, where they need support. I create content on that, and then at the end, or or the middle, depending on what feels right to you, you pitch. You say, like, hey, let me give you all this amazing content. Let me support you in getting from where you are right now to where you want to be a little bit. And then if you want me to help you further or deeper, like, I have, you pitch from it. And when it comes to pitching, there are a couple of things that I say for folks, is that you can do a couple of things. You can either pitch a very specific product and say, hey, I have a, this isn't what I have, so I'm just making this up. I have a, 6-month mastermind that has, 20 people in it, that really supports people in specifically eating healthier, eating a diet that works best for their bodies, lowering their cholesterol. And in this program, most people have seen the results of losing, in those 6 months, anywhere from 30 to 30 plus pounds, and they feel more energetic, and they're much happier, and they're wearing new clothes. Like, those are the people that are in this group. So you could do some sort of pitch at the end that you're like pitching something very specific, and you can say, if this is what it is, this is who it helps, these are the results people get. If you're interested, sign up here to buy, or if you're interested, schedule a call with me here. So what I do for my content, and if you are really looking to figure out how you can sign clients with content, it's very much really just picking the channel that's exciting and works for you, sharing your insights and knowledge with your ideal client based off of information that they said that they needed, and then pitching from the end. No worries on joining late, love. I'm just doing like a little bit. You can totally still follow along from where I'm going here. But those are the big things, is that once you get that, people will buy from folks that they know, that they like, that they trust. And once you get that, if you just consistently add value to their lives and then invite people to work with you, you will sign clients. Will sign clients through your content. And so definitely, as I'm going on, those are kind of my big tips. I do have some other ones, but if you have any questions about, signing clients from content and things like that, post them below. But what I've really done to make it not stressful, and here are some of my tips, are to choose one of two ways, and you know yourself best. So I'm going to give you kind of two examples, and then you go with the one that works for you. There are people that are like, I am stressed out about content because I don't know what I'm going to write about, and until I know what I'm going to create content on, and until I have a plan, I'm stressed out and I'm uncomfortable. So for those of you that are like, I need a plan, here's what I recommend. I always say, like I said a little bit at the beginning, you know what you're going to pitch or sell, or your intention for, and I do this at, let's say, a month at a time. So for the month of December that you want to sell I'm going to just use an example, I'm making this up, but let's say you would like to sell 4 spots into your one-on-one coaching business, and you know that you would like 4 people. Let's just say that. And let's say somebody tell me about, Or somebody actually give me an example of something that they're looking to sell right now, how many, and tell me about it, like who it's for and all that jazz in the comments, and I can use that as an example too, and support you in building out your plan. But for example, let's just pretend for a second that it's like you want 4 people in your one-on-one coaching business, and let's say you are a life coach and you help people that feel really stuck and disconnected from their self and like stuck in a job that they hate. You help them find the joy and happiness in their life. You help them tap into their desires and figure out what it is that they really want to do. An example of some of your clients are like people, like you had one client that, started her own business because that's what she's always wanted to do, or another client that was able to negotiate with her job moving to Europe because she's always wanted to live in Europe, and she loved her job and didn't want to leave the company, but she also didn't want to live where she was living now. I'm making this up, but like get clear on what it is that you want to sell and who it's for and how it can help people. And then what I do, and if you're somebody who needs a plan, I do some reverse engineering. I go, okay, this is my package and who it's for, and how I want to help people. And thank you, Carmela. I'm going to read yours in a second and use that as the next example. What is it that people who would want to have a life coach that maybe have had dreams of, moving to Europe, or who have had dreams of, starting their own business or things like that, that really want to live a passionate life, live a life that they're so freaking in love with. What are some things that they're challenged with? What are they struggling with right now? And it could be things like, oh man, they're really struggling with self-love. They're really struggling with confidence. They're really struggling with, maybe you work with people and it's health and wellness, whatever it is, like you really start thinking about what is it that they're challenged with, and you pick one. And just like brainstorm. So if you want to talk confidence, brainstorm all the things about confidence that you could talk about to help somebody. Like if you're like, oh, I'm going to spend a whole month and I'm just going to help people solve their confidence problem. Maybe you won't help them completely, but you can brainstorm some things that you could talk about and that you could do. Then what I do is I brainstorm a ton. I go, okay, I theme each month is the short answer here, is I theme each month. If you need a plan, I brainstorm a ton of potential topics. And then I go, okay, well, how frequently do I want to post? And if you know that you want to post, maybe you want to do a video once a week, or maybe you want to do a blog post 3 times a week or something like that, then you just pick enough subtopics to cover that span of time. So maybe if in a week, if you're going to do 3 times, maybe you'll pick 4 themes, like 4 sub-themes of confidence. And then each week is a sub-theme, and you know that that's going to be 3 video posts. Maybe part 1 is, you really have to connect with who you really are, and you create 3 blog posts about that, if that's your thing. Let me read Carmela. 10 101 coaching spots. I help diabetics transform how they manage diabetes so they can reclaim their lives. It's for diabetics who want to lower their A1C, reduce dependence on insulin and meds, and eventually reverse their diabetes. Okay, so for you, what I would do is I would start with like, okay, that's what you want to sell, is you want to sell your one-on-one package specifically for that. Then what I would do is I'd go, okay, based off of your ideal client, start thinking about some things. And if you don't know the answer, then reach out to, type 2 diabetics who want to lower their A1Cs and say, hey, what is it that you're reading right now? What is it that you would, when it comes to diabetes, what is it that you want to know about? Or maybe for them, it has nothing to do with diabetes. Maybe, they want to lower their A1Cs, but maybe it's about living a more vivacious life. And they're just trying to figure out how they can have more joy in their lives or things like that. Like really connect with your ideal client, find out what it is that they want, what it is they're reading about or watching videos about, where they could use support, and then just brainstorm some things that you could talk about, and then present that in a way that works really well for you. So, I don't know, I'm not your ideal client, so I can't say what I would want, but, if the reason that they want to, I'm making this up a little bit, but if the reason they want to lower their A1C is so that they could, spend more time with their family and have more joy, then maybe what you do is you start creating content that's like, hey, here's, if maybe they read a lot of blog posts instead of watching videos. I'm making this up. So maybe you want to do a blog, and your blog posts for a week, you can have a theme around how to really have a vivacious holiday season, spending time with your family, and having the energy to spend time with your family or something like that. And then maybe the tips in there are like, hey, here are you're a type 2 diabetic. I know that, you're lacking energy. Again, I'm totally making this up because I'm not a health coach by any means. So if I say anything wrong, I apologize. But like, maybe you're like, I know you're low on energy and it's the holiday season and you really want to spend time with your family. So I've come up with these 3 things that you can do to help you have more energy. And maybe it's like, sneak some kale in your, maybe one is a recipe. It's like how to sneak kale in your smoothie, your fruit smoothie, so that it tastes better. Again, totally making this shit up. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can create some things where it's like, hey, let me give you some tips. And then, or it could be like, hey, maybe you don't have the energy right now today to run around, but maybe some things that sorry, I just wanted to see if there are any more comments. Maybe some things that you want to do is like play really cool card games with your kids or your grandkids, or maybe you want to do something like give them some sort of tips or advice or something that's really of value to them. And then at the end you can say, now this will only help you like for the next couple of weeks, but as you know, this is a longer journey, and for you to really have that dream life where you're feeling vivacious and energetic and enjoying life, you really need to lower your A1Cs, and you know this. And I've literally had success working with people one-on-one and lowering their A1Cs so that, you're not just enjoying the holidays with your family, you're enjoying a lifetime. And so then you do that, you pitch that from your content, and you're like, hey, why don't you schedule a time to talk with me? It's going to be a no pressure conversation just to see if, we're a right fit for each other and if I can really support you based off of where you're at right now. So let's just have a conversation. Here's the link to schedule a conversation. And you just keep it like that simple, where you've added value, you've piqued their interest, you've got them like excited about something and learning something and able to walk away. And then you've gone the extra mile and said, hey, look, I know the tips I'm giving you right now will help you a little bit, but it won't help you forever. So let's hop on the phone and let me see if we can work together. Sweet. I'm glad, Carmela, that you love this and that it's helpful. That's literally what I do to sign clients from my content, is I just add value. I give them tips that'll help them, maybe in the moment or short term, but it's not a long-term solution. And if you really want a long-term solution, then here are ways that you can work with me, and let's figure out, let's just hop on the phone, have a no pressure conversation, and see what works for you. So that's how I sign clients with content. Now, that's the structured way on how to map it out. Like, you could literally theme a month and then create like 4 sub themes for the 4 weeks, and then determine, like each week I'm going to do, I'm making this up, but like 1 email and 2 Facebook Lives or something. And then you can kind of come up with the topics based off of the theme for the week. And then you have like a system that you can replicate and keep doing. Now, if you're somebody who's like, oh my goodness, I don't want to have like a theme for a week because what if I change my mind? Then what I encourage you to do is maybe still create that as a backup plan. But you don't have to announce and tell people, weeks in advance, like on week 4 of this month, I'm going to talk to you about this. What you can do is say you have a plan, and then you can wake up in the morning and go, okay, or do I really want this to still be the theme of the week? No, I think I want to focus more on talking about, mindset this week as opposed to, healthy diets. So then you can change the theme of the week for sure, but you at least have a plan, because for most of us, if you don't have something in your calendar that's going to happen, it won't happen. So for me, I have in my calendar when I'm going to do these Facebook Lives, and I don't put the title in my calendar yet because, I may change my mind, but I know I'm doing one. So it's like, hey, I'm doing a Facebook Live, so I better come up with a topic or something like that. But it's just a way to keep it not stressful for you. It's to just like for those of you that would like to have a plan, have a plan. For those of you that want to have a plan, but you want to let divine guidance or inspiration change that, then bam, you can go and do that. Carmela says she has a system per day, but I should change it and make it per week. Oh, you know what I mean? I'm not saying, possibly. And you do what works best for you. There are many ways to do it, but I find that if there's like a theme for a week, then it doesn't feel as crazy. So a lot of us sometimes are like, oh my goodness, I'm making this up, but for, let's say, you're going to do 4 Facebook Lives a week and there's 4 weeks. So let's say you're like, oh my God, I'm going to do 16 Facebook Lives, and you try to come up with 16 very different topics, and then people will watch your lives and they'll be all over the place and overwhelmed, and it's like, whoa, this is a lot. Where what you could do is you can say, oh, okay, I'm going to have a theme for the month, and then I'm going to have 4 sub-themes, and maybe I'm doing 16 videos, but it's all going to be around the same thing. And if somebody watches all of them, cool, they got a ton. If somebody just watches, a couple of them, they're getting more information on that same topic, and you're kind of like keeping it simple and easy for you, and then you only have to brainstorm one topic really well for the month, and then as opposed to trying to come up with 16. So yeah, so Carmela's like, she thinks that could be easier. So yeah, that's something that I do to kind of get rid of the stress and keep it easy. And I'm not saying you have to do 4 Facebook Lives a week. I was just doing that for math purposes for me. But I would literally just kind of check in and say, how frequently can you post? And the most important thing is that you're consistent. If you're like, I'm going to only do a video or a blog post once a week, then cool. Do 1 a week, but be consistent. Do it every single week. Put it on your calendar. Schedule some time to make sure that you've mapped out what the content's going to be about, and know yourself. Like, you don't have to, if you want to do this in a way that's less stressful for you, like for me, I know that with Facebook Lives, I just need about 10 minutes to map out what I'm going to say, or to make sure I have points so that I don't forget anything before I go live, and then I just go live and I start talking. So that's super easy for me. I'm like, I know which days I'm going to go live because I put it on my calendar. I pick the topic either in advance, or maybe like, well, it's always in advance, but it's how far in advance. Maybe like at the beginning of the month, maybe at the beginning of that week, maybe that day. It kind of depends. And then I just kind of map it out before and I go live. And then what I do and how you can repurpose content is, once you've created, whether it's a blog post or a video or whatever it is that you've created, you can reuse that exact same piece of content somewhere else. And the reason for that is, when you really think about it, not everybody's going to watch everything you do. So when I do these Facebook Lives, I will either keep them live for a little bit, pull them down, and then put them as a part of a paid product. I will sometimes keep them in my Facebook group and then also download it and put it on YouTube, and then link to that YouTube video on maybe like Twitter or other places, or embed it in an email that I send out. And I wanted to send out one email that week. It could be the Facebook Lives that I did, and some tips. So really just keep it simple. Do it in a way that works best for you. And again, like, the big things are, get really clear on who your ideal client is, get really clear on what products you want to sell throughout the month, set an intention for how many you want to sell, and then map out, okay, how often are you going to produce content consistently, and make sure, again, it's consistent. And then just go, okay, here's my hero product, my hero channel, here's where I'm going to prioritize and always do, whether that's your videos or your blog posts or things like that. Then you're going to go, okay, what content does my ideal client desperately need? Because I've either asked them questions, I've checked in with myself because I know what I needed when I was them, or I've asked the universe. And then you pitch at the end, and you're just like I did with Carmela's example, business example, is that you can say, hey, I've gotten you this far with this piece of content. If you have X, Y, and Z challenges and you want to go, this much further, or have these results, schedule a call to talk to me about it. And let's just, no pressure conversation, and see if working together makes sense for you. Or if you have a specific product, you can say, hey, here's the specific product, buy now. Or here's the specific product, let's schedule a time to talk and see if that specific product is right for you. So let me know if that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions as we go along. But that is the bulk of the content I have for you guys today. It's like, literally, I have stopped making content stressful by literally just getting rid of all the bullshit and literally just going, okay, I know how often I'm going to post. I know which platforms make me happy and that I enjoy posting on. So I know I'm going to do it consistently. And my whole purpose is to keep it simple, add value to my ideal clients' lives, and pitch from that piece of content. And that's it. And so it's just keep it simple, sister. So that's primarily what I've got for you. Again, put any questions you have below. And for those of you that, you're thinking about the rest of this year, or you're thinking about specifically like 2018, and you really, 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 really in your heart of hearts know that you have what it takes to build a profitable business, to have your business consistently generate a profit, not just revenue, but a profit. Because a lot of times, and this is something I've been speaking about a lot recently with a lot of my clients and friends, because I get really frustrated when so many of us talk about how much money we're making from a revenue perspective, but we're not really talking about what it looks like from a profit perspective. Like when you cut out all your expenses, how much are you taking home, and are you able to survive and living that dream life that you have? So if you know that you're like, hey, I want to build this profitable business, and you know that you resonate with me, you connect with me, you would love support, and whether it's creating content and putting your systems in place in sales conversations, in prospecting, whatever it may be, but essentially in building this profitable business, if you're like, hey, Nick, I connect and engage with you, I know I would love to work with you in some sort of capacity, then I really encourage you to schedule a call with me, because I have a number of really awesome, I'm so freaking excited. Like, I've literally talked to so many people today, and I'm like in California, like I don't care if I'm on like traveling, or I wouldn't consider this a vacation anymore because I'm working a ton and just so excited. But there are many, many ways to work with me coming up next year, and that could be in a larger group capacity, in a medium-sized group capacity, like I'm talking 20 to 25 people, or 10 to 25 people. There's a way to work with me in a really small group of like 6 to 8 people, and there's ways to work with me one-on-one, all with the intention of you creating a profitable business that you're freaking passionate about, that you're madly in love with, that makes you super stoked and happy, and that has you crushing it. So if you want to just have a no pressure conversation with me to just see like, is what I'm offering right for you? Is there like which of the options really works best for you financially, you gut-wise, you emotionally, all of the things? Then I encourage you to go to nikkinash.co /unstoppable and just fill it out, and you'll that page, and you'll be redirected to my calendar. Or just shoot me a PM. Like direct message me or personal message me and just say, hey, Nick, I'd like a call. I just want to see like what you have coming up, what you could do to really support me. I have a range of price points right now. Obviously, one-on-one is going to be the most expensive, but there are many ways that I'm really looking to service you guys this year, because I have a mission for women to build profitable businesses, and I'm really working for 100,000 women to build really kick-ass profitable businesses, and to support them in doing so before the end of 2020. And so that's one of my big missions. I have another bigger mission about people, like 1 million people just taking an actionable step towards living a life they're madly in love with by 2020, the end of 2020 as well. But those are my two big things. So I'm really working to connect and engage with as many of you as possible, to support you and really work with you to have fun, have joy, be stress-free, and make a profit. Because that's what I've been focusing on, and I can tell you it's freaking phenomenal. And so if you have any questions, again, shoot me a PM, go to nikkinash.co / unstoppable, schedule a call with me, shoot me a direct message if that's easier, but let me know how I can support you. And if you have any other questions, totally let me know. But that's primarily what I've got for you guys today. Because that's what I got. So I will talk to you guys soon. If you're watching the replay, again, you can always ask questions, or if you just joined and you're like, oh my goodness, Nikki's leaving, definitely, or leaving this live, not going anywhere else, but definitely post your comments below after you watch the replay or while you're watching parts of it. But I am here for you guys, and so direct message me, ask me questions, let me know how I can support you. And if you really, really are looking for support, primarily in starting 2018, and thank you for all the hearts and the loves, guys. I love it. Definitely reach out and schedule a call, because I am just like, I think you're fabulous women in this tribe and in this community, and I'm so excited to support you guys. So I am so glad. This was great, Carmela. And yeah, if you guys have any questions at all, post them below. I will either answer them straight in the comments, or I may just come in and do another live and just tag you in it if that's if it's a deeper question, and I believe that it would be helpful for everybody in the tribe to kind of get that answer that way and all that jazz. So I am going to head off and get ready. I'm going to go out with friends a little bit later, but that's what I have for you guys. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.